It is hard to believe that it's been 7 years since a DLC dropped for a Battlefield set in modern times. We've seen a lot of rumors about the next Battlefield game supposedly taking place in the near future, and it might have highly destructible cities, massive weather events, huge player counts, murder robots, Osprey aircraft, and a host of other things. And of course, this has people excited. Now, we can't confirm it at this point, but what we can do is go back to Battlefield 3, 4, and Bad Company 2, all of which are set in modern times, and see if those rumors are even good or bad ideas. We have confirmed Battlefield announcements coming in June, and more coming from EA Play on July 22nd. We also now have a release date sometime around October to December, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up, and we'll let you know as stuff happens. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with massive destruction, which is a great idea. Large-scale destruction hasn't always been in Battlefield games. It started with the little pleasures, like blowing up a bridge in Battlefield 2. It then grew over the years as Frostbite engine was developed and made less janky. Going back to play Bad Company 2 reminded me that it was just the best in that department, like hands down. The destruction was organic, it was everywhere, it was usually right in your face. Battlefield 3 on the other hand traded better looking graphics and larger map scale for less destruction. That meant the larger environments were full of plenty of indestructible features. Battlefield 4 returned to destruction in a pretty big way, some of it involving massive spectacle, but often it happened far away from you and it wasn't quite as exciting as Bad Company. You might have not even noticed it if you weren't looking in the right direction, and some maps were less interesting afterward. The giant rockets in leaked images do look like some kind of map event or major objective indicating a possible return to Battlefield 4's style. That could mean parts of maps being destroyed or just a visual indicator that matches are getting past a certain phase. What we're hoping is the next Battlefield game can harness more powerful consoles and PCs to give players the best of all worlds, the organic destruction of Bad Company 2 and the massive scale of Battlefield 3 or 4. Now you should know that it's been confirmed Battlefield 6 will be on previous gen consoles, so we don't know if that will hold it back. At the highest possible level, and we've said this before, but if we could start with a map like Siege of Shanghai and end with a map that looks like Battlefield 3's Aftermath DLC, that's the dream. So in the destruction camp, we should now talk about extreme weather events, which could be a pretty bad idea. If we're looking at what's been done already in Battlefield titles, extreme weather events like tornadoes could be problematic from a pretty large number of angles, and Frostbite engine might not be up to the task. For a preview of that, you just need to look at Paracel Storm from Battlefield 4. Vehicle physics for any kind of boat or fast-moving ground vehicle in Battlefield 4 was pretty janky, and when waves kicked up, boats did not interact with the water well. It didn't just look visually odd, but it also made aiming kind of difficult, and I can't imagine having a tornado nearby would help that. Then there's player visibility, which is its own constant problem in Battlefield, even up through Battlefield 5. Out of titles set in modern times, Battlefield 4 is probably the worst offender though. It's physically hard to see enemy players against the background on a lot of maps, and you'll often die from someone standing right in front of you that you didn't see. I can't imagine bad weather and objects getting demolished in front of your face will help that problem. I'm honestly holding out hope the next Battlefield game just makes it easier to see enemy players. Finally, just some quality of life stuff here that surprised me. I forgot that you couldn't cut your parachute in previous Battlefield games, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work with getting sucked up in a tornado. Alright, so murder robots in a near future setting is probably a great idea. Battlefield games are at their best when players can use tools in ways you don't expect. And you bet your ass the first thing I did with Battlefield 3 was go trolling with the EOD bot. The amount of fun that you can have with modern gadgets really highlighted what was missing from Battlefield 1 and 5. Ending a sniper duel by roadkilling your foe with a UAV. Oh god, you can't do this anymore, can you? Even Battlefield Hardline's grappling hooks and zip lines just opened up a lot of possibilities. It's all about bringing back that sandbox. Another aspect of future tech is it allows squads to play together more easily. I am a diehard supporter of the Tracer Dart in Bad Company 2 for its ability to communicate targets to other people in your squad. Battlefield 3 also had its own solutions for communicating targets to your team, which is where we got the really fun Javelin squads from.
Wow, look at that. Gorgeous.
Battlefield 6 will hopefully also make some progress on giving more information to keep squads together, which can be really hard to do when splitting your attention between combat objectives and where your team's heading. In the totally not confirmed leaked images of the next Battlefield game, we see some Osprey aircraft. That's exciting because Battlefield has always had a problem with airplanes. They usually just head off into the sky and do their own thing with little impact on matches. Cue complaint from old Battlefield 2 video.
But it doesn't often feel like jets interact with the battle in a meaningful way. They just do their damage and leave a trail of butthurt in their wake.
Because of that issue, a lot of the medium to smaller size maps only work with helicopters, because they can interact with the ground game. That's why Ospreys are so exciting, because they're a hybrid airplane helicopter that can perform both roles. As a plane, they can ferry squads across larger maps quickly. As a helicopter, they can stick around and wreck shop on objectives. It honestly solves one of Battlefield's longest running challenges with jets, which really just work on massive maps. And even then, only with skilled pilots. And speaking of skilled pilots, we need to talk about controls.
Don't last down there alone. Get in the fight, for Christ's sake. Maverick! Maverick!
Maverick's re-engaging, sir.
Aircraft controls, in particular in Battlefield games, are just not up to par on a number of levels and have an incredibly steep and unfriendly learning curve. Yes, people who put in the time to master them can be god tier, and I don't want to take that away from you, if that's you. But as someone who flew helicopters a lot during matches back in the day, I was at square one again, crashing all over the place just trying to remember the basics. And that wasn't even trying to circle strafe. After spending so much time with Call of Duty 2019's helicopters, there's just straight up no reason these controls need to be that complicated at a base level. There should be an easy default setting, and then the older controls for skilled players. Aircraft could also be very buggy, like constantly getting stuck in the skybox. Or how in Battlefield 4, if you inverted aircraft controls, the bomb sights didn't also invert, so you had to play one aircraft both inverted and non-inverted at the same time. Trying to fly an Osprey with Battlefield 4 style controls would be kind of a nightmare for less experienced players. Huge player count? Could be good or bad, it just kind of depends. In a recent investor call, it was confirmed Battlefield 6 is not a next-gen exclusive title, but the next-gen consoles will enable higher player counts. The number being thrown around out there is about 128. But here's the thing. More players doesn't equal more fun. And boy did Battlefield 3's 64-player Operation Metro or Battlefield 4's Operation Locker just remind me of that. It's an absolute show. There are those of you out there who like that mayhem. Good on ya. But from a Battlefield perspective, these maps just feel pointless. Players smash into each other with very little skill or thought process involved. So how do you do more players right? You need purpose-built maps, and the king of this is still Bad Company 2, where almost the entire game was built around and balanced for rush mode. That brought just the right number of players crashing together in fun and consistent ways. In contrast, rush really did not work in Battlefield 4 when placed on large open maps built for conquest. So we're hoping that Battlefield 6 sticks with the good tradition of purpose-built maps. That means conquest maps should be large, with every objective a set piece that has consequences, like older Battlefield games. If you capture an area, it should lead to something. Control of an airfield, a bombardment, a tank spawn. No more Caspian border, you're capturing this ditch because reasons? In contrast, rush maps should be meandering and tell a good story. Simply placing more players on existing maps can go very wrong. High player count also ties into the need for crossplay, which is also a rumor. Going back to play older Battlefield games isolated on their platforms or completely dead was both not surprising and really sad. It can be hard to get a match or a decent ping when players start to leave one platform or another. To keep the healthiest communities alive, Battlefield 6 needs crossplay. And the more the merrier if they want to add it to Game Pass. Another interesting angle that I hadn't thought of until recently is if these rumors are referring to bots. Games have come a long way with bots. They can really improve the immersion of a game like they did in Titanfall. Battlefield 2 back in the day had full-on bot matches that some people really enjoyed. We are very excited for the release of the next Battlefield game and to see if any of these leaks and rumors wind up being true. There's so many other aspects of Battlefield to explore, like if hit registration and hit markers improve, will Battlefield ever get a proper kill cam? How will classes be used or changed this time around? The first official reveal is supposed to be happening soon, but in the meantime, head on over to GameSpot's YouTube page and check out our history of destruction in Battlefield. Alright, thanks for watching.